Playing Ursula was a dream come true, but the real magic was the young people who came to the show. To the queer kids and the trans kids who saw themselves in me. To the little disabled kids in tentacles and costumes singing at the top of their lungs, hugging me so tight. To the nonverbal children who found their voices just to tell me they saw themselves. You changed me. And to Kylie, the trans boy in foster care who stood at the back of the theater and yelled, "I love you, Ursula! I love you too!" You matter. Your joy matters. Trans lives matter. Thank you so much.
Good news, everyone! Tonight, Sadie goes from runner to fighter. Ryan Walters is finally out. A trans Miss Vietnam is in, and more. Good news starts right now. Meet Miss Vietnam 2025 from GMA News. Vietnam is set to make history at the Miss Universe 2025 pageant by sending its first ever transgender woman candidate to the competition. On Instagram, Miss Universe Vietnam announced that transgender beauty queen Nguyen Hoang Giang will be representing her country in the upcoming beauty pageant this November in Thailand. In the post, MUV described Hyungyang as a living testament to the power of perseverance and talent, which resonates with the organization's mission. Quote, "The Miss Universe Vietnam organization has made a special decision to handpick an outstanding representative, someone who embodies feminine beauty, intelligence, confidence, resilience, and above all, a strong heart that never stops striving," the Vietnamese caption read when translated to English. Miss Giang is a living testament to the power of perseverance and talent. Her inspiring and proud journey spans many roles: singer, actress, model, MC, judge, producer, and more. The organization stated that she has once again demonstrated her relentless drive to push boundaries, embodying the image of a modern, empowered Vietnamese woman in every role she takes on. In an Instagram post, she admitted to spending a long time to reflect after she was presented with the invitation to represent Vietnam in the pageant. Quote, "I came to realize that once Miss Universe opened this opportunity, it meant they were waiting for the right women to step forward, to shine on that stage and share powerful messages with the world," she wrote. One of those messages is clear: nothing is impossible, and it is never too late for any woman to use the Miss Universe platform to break stereotypes and give back to her community. Ending her post, the beauty queen said that her journey is not just a story about gender, but rather a story about people and faith. Quote, "Believe that with enough effort, one day, you can all change your own lives. Your starting point does not define your limits," she said. A model and a singer, she won the 2018 edition of Miss International Queen, the world's biggest pageant for transgender women. Now she will become the fourth transgender woman to compete in the Miss Universe pageant since the organization began allowing trans contestants in 2013. She is also the first transgender woman from Asia to compete. Follow her Instagram for more of her adventures at instagram.com/HUOGGIANGGGG. Oklahoma schools might finally be safer as Ryan Walters exits office. From the Associated Press. Republican Ryan Walters, Oklahoma's top public school official who lauded President Donald Trump, pledged to put a Turning Point USA chapter in every high school to honor a fallen podcaster and end what he calls wokeness in public schools, among many other things, such as getting his students killed and putting Bibles in every classroom and broadcasting adult content at school board meetings and many, many other things, is resigning to lead a conservative think tank. Walters, who is 40, said Wednesday night on Fox News that he is stepping down as state superintendent of public instruction to become the CEO of the Teacher Freedom Alliance, a ostensibly nonprofit organization that claims to assist educators in their mission to develop free, moral, and upright American citizens. Walters, who once got locked out of his own state computer system for 2 years, said, "We're going to destroy the teachers' unions," on Fox. Quote, "We have seen the teachers' unions use money and power to corrupt our schools and undermine our schools." Walters has leaned into culture war politics and sought to infuse religion into classroom instruction, including a mandate that public school teachers incorporate his favorite version of the Bible into lesson plans for children in grades 5 through 12. He has also tried to require social studies teachers to promote conspiracy theories about the 2020 U.S. election, to track the immigration status of children in schools, and require applicants for teaching jobs coming from California and New York to pass an exam designed to test for political ideology. Many of his efforts have led to lawsuits against him and the agency and the state, even as Oklahoma's national ranking in several education metrics have continued to decline. Walters, a former teacher, was elected to the superintendent's job. He served as Oklahoma's Secretary of Education from September 2020 through April 2023, and he was appointed to that position by Governor Kevin Stitt. Ever since then, quote, "We have witnessed a stream of never-ending scandal and political drama," Oklahoma Attorney General Drummond said in a statement. Quote, "It is time for a state superintendent of public instruction who will actually focus on quality instruction in our public schools." College runner Sadie Schreiner is off to the races after being illegally barred from a public competition. From The Advocate. A runner is suing the NCAA and a New York State university for denying her a spot in a public tournament. Sadie Schreiner, a runner on the Rochester Institute of Technology's track and field team during the 2023 through 2024 season, said she was turned away from the women's 200-meter and 400-meter races at SUNY Geneseo's early invitational in March. That was despite Schreiner having qualifying times to make her eligible for the race. Quote, "As stated in the complaint, the track meet at issue was open to members of the public. SUNY Geneseo violated New York state law when it excluded Sadie because she happens to be transgender," said lawyer Susie Cirilli, according to Geneseo's NBC affiliate. Schreiner signed up to compete in the Invitational as an independent athlete, not as a representative of her school. Because of that, her lawsuit claims she should have avoided problems with the new NCAA rule instituted in February that bars minority women from competing in girls' or women's sporting events. The NCAA instituted that rule after President Donald Trump signed an executive order withholding federal funding from academic institutions that allow minority women to compete with the majority population. NCAA President Charlie Barker said in February it was important to have consistent rules at sanctioned tournaments. Quote, We strongly believe that clear, consistent, and uniform eligibility standards would best serve today's student athletes instead of a patchwork of conflicting state laws and court decisions. To that end, President Trump's order provides a clear national standard, Baker said in a statement at the time. But Schreiner's suit alleges the restrictions put NCAA tournaments in New York out of compliance with state law. Citing the New York State human rights law, the complaint argues state statutes take precedence over NCAA rules and policies. While New York does specifically enumerate protection of human rights in the state constitution in numerous places, Sadie's case is by no means a slam dunk. Judges elsewhere in New York previously declined to hear cases about similar violations, including a Nassau County judge who declined to hear a case about a local ordinance that prohibited minority participation in sports, despite a clear demonstration that the ordinance conflicted with state law. While this case may or may not set precedent, it is worth noting Sadie is nothing if not relentless in her pursuits. Project Runway crowns its first trans champion. From Out. Project Runway Season 21 came to an end with the crowning of VJ Floresca, the first ever trans person to win the series. Floresca created some notable looks throughout Season 21. Still, it was her final collection, a reference to the Terminator movies, that wowed the judges' panel, which included the season regulars Heidi Klum, Nina Garcia, and Law Roach, in addition to returning judge Michael Kors. In a post-win interview with Elle magazine, Floresca confessed that she still hasn't fully processed the win, noting that this victory was more than a decade in the making. The Filipina grew up being a fan of the show and even competed on the Philippines version of Project Runway, finishing the competition as a runner-up. After she won there, she was determined to compete in the US version of the show, so she applied every year since 2012 and was denied until this year. Floresca heard many no's throughout her career, and that perspective helped her seize the moment of winning Project Runway. Quote, "I would tell myself, it's not your time yet, but hold on because your time will come. Now is that time," she told Elle. At the end of the interview, Floresca was asked about the importance of trans representation, especially in a moment when the government is threatening civil liberties daily. Quote, "I'm an immigrant. I'm a trans woman of color, and people need to see that we are not enemies," Floresca explained. "We're just normal people with dreams and aspirations, and I hope that my story can change people's perspectives. For anyone struggling, I hope that you hear my story and know you've got this." Kansas courts restore rational policy on gender markers. From Aaron in the Morning. After a grueling 2-year fight, starting on Tuesday, the Kansas Department of Revenue will resume issuing accurate driver's licenses to transgender Kansans, a spokesperson for the ACLU of Kansas told Aaron in the Morning. Last week, the Kansas Supreme Court declined to hear Attorney General Chris Kobach's request to uphold a district court order preventing the state from updating IDs for trans residents. And while there is still a fight ahead, it marks a notable victory for trans people in a state that has been holding their driver's licenses hostage for years. Quote, "I want every transgender Kansan to be able to live their lives authentically," said Catherine Redman, a 65-year-old resident and a plaintiff in the case, Kansas v. Harper, brought on by the ACLU and Stinson LLP. AG Kobach has asserted that the courts needed to put a stop to the license updates indefinitely, claiming it would interfere with law enforcement's ability to identify and apprehend criminal suspects. The Court of Appeals called this mere speculation, largely due to the fact that accurately describing what a person looks like today rather than what's on their birth certificate is certainly more useful for law enforcement purposes. Quote, "There is no hidden agenda," Redmond told Aaron in the Morning. "All I tried to accomplish and what I have accomplished by my transition is I now live my life at peace with myself." In theory, the case should now be returned to a new trial court for a final resolution, but the conservative Kobach doesn't want to let that happen. He and other Republican officials have sought to call a special legislative session on the matter, a process they were already undertaking in a transparent attempt at gerrymandering, and it has seen renewed fanfare in light of the court events this past week. The fight to strip trans Kansans of their rights, State Senate President Ty Masterson wrote in an October 1st letter, is considered, quote, "even more important than redistricting." He called on the Kansas State Republican Caucus to simply add a few words to state law to stop Kansans from getting accurate gender markers on their identification. The legal proceedings have ricocheted from court to court since July 2023, when legislators overrode Democratic Governor Laura Kelly's veto on Senate Bill 180. The anti-trans law takes after legislation proposed by right-wing anti-trans organizations, misleadingly dubbed the Women's Bill of Rights. In practice, the only thing the bill does is codify sex segregation and target the equal rights of transgender people. It makes no mention of forcing Kansans to carry a driver's license with an inaccurate gender marker. Quote, "Rather than accepting the decisions of the two highest courts in our state, Mr. Kobach is resorting to backroom attempts to change the law and shut the courts out of our government so he can have full, unchecked power," Micah Kubik, executive director of the ACLU of Kansas, said in a statement. Quote, "This is, simply put, a power grab by the Attorney General that goes beyond his baseline of cheap political theater and wasteful litigation." Kubik denounced Kobach's extremist and discriminatory agenda, adding that it, quote, "threatens not just the privacy and agency of all Kansans, but also the very checks and balances of our state government." If you enjoy content like this, be sure to subscribe. Transpositions Weekly is the home for trans positive news, but also sports, analysis, and stories about trans people that all too often don't actually include any trans people. Support our efforts by sharing these videos with people who might like them, or people who might hate them but really need to hear some facts. And if you can, consider contributing at patreon.com/thetranspositions. And join the Discord, because Discord, of course, is where the memes live, and our meme of the week was posted by Jade. And if you believe becoming your highest self should be no different from every other type of journey, join us. Also, if you have good news concerning trans people you'd like to see reported on, you can tell us about that in the Discord as well. For the Transpositions, I've been Ember Belrad.
Hello, my loves. So I've been looking through my old videos, just trying to kind of get an idea of what content I want to keep up and what I'm feeling like is just a representation of who I used to be, but not necessarily representing me now. And I realized that my last top surgery update video was 3 years post-op, which was apparently 2 years ago. This past August, I hit 5 years post-op and I didn't even realize it. So that's wild. and I'm very happy about that. But you can see how much of a normal part of my life it is that I didn't even realize I had hit such a big milestone. So I want to update you about that, and also about like my testosterone experience so far, because I've been on testosterone for, I think, a bit over 2 years at this point, maybe 2.5, but I think it's been a bit over 2. If you're not interested in hearing about that, or if you're going to leave hate comments, please just leave instead of leaving the comment. Please just, the door's right there. You don't have to even be here. You don't have to hear any of this. Go do something you actually enjoy. Thank you. Anyway, now that those people are gone, so testosterone has been hitting me like a truck for the past half a year at the very least, and it's been wild to actually be experiencing changes. I feel like for the first long time I just didn't really see much happening, but my voice has changed a lot. So basically my larynx is quite a bit thicker, as you can see that I have an Adam's apple, and this is a very prominent part of my body now. And that means that my vocal cords are thicker, my everything in terms of my voice is thicker, which also means that it is harder for me to hit light high notes in my falsetto kind of range, which has been tricky. That's been kind of going on for a long time now, actually. I think it started about 6 months into testosterone, honestly. And yeah, so my falsetto, I realized, wasn't really working when I was cheering at a drag show and I couldn't cheer. So I was doing this. Oh! Oh! So it squeaks sometimes, but it's like, it's like a whistle tone way up there. Also, if I do this, you can hear it, but there's like a cutoff, right? There's that whole section's missing in the middle. So it's super weird. But I'm trying to do exercises to coordinate my voice again. And another weird thing that happens is sometimes I'll honk, like I'll autocorrect to a different note that is not the right note. Or I will sing a note that is in my falsetto and it will come out as that note, but also the note an octave down at the same time. I'll try to do that really quick. Or it just doesn't come out at all. But do you hear how it's like 2 tones at the same time? I don't understand that. I didn't know that was something that could happen. But now I'm dealing with it. So yeah, my focus is coordinating that part of my voice. I say it's under construction right now. My chest voice, on the other hand, has been really fun to explore. I feel like I have so much more color to play with, so many different tone qualities that I just didn't have access to before. There's just kind of a depth down below my voice now. I'm sure you can hear it. And then, yeah, I've gained a lot of range towards the bottom too. Yeah, that's about where I typically land. But yeah, it's been really fun to play with my voice, and just I've been feeling so much more confident in my speaking voice, and feeling like when I say I'm a man, I believe myself, right? I believe myself, which makes it a lot easier to kind of just move around the world and feel like people aren't looking at me any type of way. Before, when I would post content on here, I was trying to explain how I genuinely viewed my gender identity, except that I felt like I was also trying to convince people of the way that I was seeing myself, because it didn't feel obvious to me. It felt like something I kind of had to make sure people understood. And now I'm just like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna take my shirt off now. Now I'm just like, if you look at me and you say, which is something that I have seen said about me, this is a woman pretending to be a man, you look stupid. I'm sorry, but you look stupid if you say that. Like, I don't know, I've gained so much muscle mass in the past year or two, and I feel like so confident in my body. And I'm actually getting some chest hair now, which has really only been in the past calendar year or so. I think it started in January, honestly. My facial hair is coming in. It's a bit patchy, so I don't grow it out. That's why it's really short. But yeah, I mean, it's there. It's very much there. And I don't know if you'll be able to see it very well, but I think you can. I have texture now, right? I have texture on my face, which is so relieving. That's something I had a lot of dysphoria about. I just felt like I was like a fake brick wall or something. Like I just didn't have like the texture and the strength that I wanted. So testosterone's been so beneficial for that. And then my chest, still doing well. Still totally fine. I forget that I even got top surgery. Sensation's great. I can feel everything. Like, my nipples maybe are still, like, a little bit confused. Some of the nerve endings are like, I don't really know where I am. And I'm like, you're on a nipple. Just, they'll learn eventually. But most of everything is very normal. And there are little bugs in my kitchen. Please leave. Yeah, so I feel so confident. Also, bottom growth has been fantastic, for the record. Just saying. Otherwise, I don't really know what else I have to update you. Oh, touching my hair. My hairline has changed. It's not terribly different, but it is definitely... I'm losing some hairs. The follicles are closing up. But my hairline has changed in a way that also allows me to hold my hair in this style, which is something I couldn't do before. I couldn't really have like a messy middle part. So I'm really happy, honestly, with the way that it's going. I just hope I don't bald too quickly. And yeah, so I feel very good in my gender. My sexuality's changed. I currently have 2 girlfriends. I never thought that I would have had 2 girlfriends, but that's how it went. And yeah.
He called on the Kansas State Republican caucus